This is October the 10th, 2019. Real writing and the lousiness of the group. Real writing. I delivered my mother's eulogy. My brother's friend, a doctor, stood next to me at the urinals after Mass. You're really a writer. Your words resonate. He was quoting my remarks. I've tried to write, but I'm just not good at it. I told him two ways people become real writers. First, it's important to be a lost soul for several years, to wander the earth, to experience life's variety, and thus be prepared to make unlikely connections. Next, you have to write a lot, just write. Classes, workshops, teachers give you little or nothing. You learn what your writing is and how to go about writing by simply writing the writing down. Redundant or musical? I decide. Musical. I have more to say on the subject of real writing, so I'll continue here. You have to spend a lot of time alone. Your mind must restlessly consider any person, place, thing, or abstraction that engages your interest. And what interests you is a mystery in and of itself. Why one object of contemplation and not another? From countless angles. The process is painful. It feels something like deep frustration. But then a moment comes, ironically, when you're not thinking at all. When a tiny silver hammer taps you lightly between the eyes, and you see as much of the big picture as is possible at the moment. Then you write it, what you understand to be the truth, down. A writer is always writing, whether he puts fingers to a keyboard or not on a particular day. A writer is in constant conversation with the world, and he is part of that world. So real writing is talking to oneself, allowing the rest of the world to overhear. The overhearing is communion with others. The real reader and writer are not escaping loneliness. They expose loneliness for the lie that it is. They recognize themselves in the words and faces of the others. Real writing is an existential understanding that we are all one. Therefore, a writer cannot belong to any particular group. I know, I've tried, and suffered many painful separations from various group illusions. A group is a lie that perpetuates lies. It's a myth to say that real writers are lonely and sad. The truth is that real writers are solitary. Solitude is ironically the prerequisite of real community. Only from a basis of independent and individual spirituality can one enjoy a real marriage, real friendship, engage in real creative collaboration with work colleagues, or connect with one's comrades in the body politic. A writer, through the act of writing, can engage in a community that transcends time, connecting to writers and others living dead and not yet born. Real writing, even poor real writing, touches an eternal ground. As much as the nature of living changes, the cultural and technological revolutions that spin from one age to another, what it is to be human, to be a human being, remains the same. And that remains a mystery as confounding in the present as it was at the dawn of time. And yet that mystery gives us clues and small epiphanies. The mystery whispers to us, look there, say this, do this, notice that feeling, stand here in your place. We fashion a quilt of perception from our limited perspective, and then the seams fall away. And for a moment, we glance at the all. That's what resonates, Doctor. Not everyone can be a writer any more than everyone can be a doctor. I didn't choose to be a writer. I couldn't escape it. No one can. Some real writers refuse to write. Some real readers refuse to read. And writing kills them, puts them to death. Madness is exile from reality. It is violent and fatal. Groups, all groups, are genocidal. The person seeks the protection of the tribe, and the tribe destroys them. Some die at war. Some live lives of quiet desperation. The walking dead, conforming and numbing the anguish of their souls with addictive escapes, ricocheting from the pain of the betrayal of life's moment to the existential pain beneath the pleasurable sensation of the narcotic materialistic sales pitch. Empty calories for the unavoidable void. Ignorance is not a function of a lack of intelligence. It is born of a lack of character. The open and innocent are brave. The ignorant are cowards, looking back at Sodom and Gomorrah instead of out at God's all, turning into pillars of salt. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in art. I am one of God's stenographers. The word God itself is just a symbol. In other words, refer to him as well. I actually don't believe in God. I experience him. I don't believe in trees either, but I affirm their reality. The world would be doing a whole lot better if there was more real writing and reading, figuring out what God wants instead of following these ridiculous, phony groups. God doesn't want this money, power, fame, condescension, one-upsmanship bullshit and the way it destroys our world. But he lets us choose. So don't go blaming him for the crimes that we commit. It's all so unhealthy. It's the writer's job to speak for and to the repressed souls of those who are unable to write, but who live and feel the unsedated life, longing for cures, not painkillers. Art burns out the pain. No condescension is intended here. Everyone is not an artist, but everyone can relate to art. The writer relates to his writing in the same fashions as his readers once it is finished. The writing is not what is important. What is important is what the writing says. I write for personal freedom. Writing memorializes my perceptions and values. It enables me to be the author of my own life. The group defines reality to secure its own survival. The writer is braver. He has faith in the truth's beauty. He is sure of the truth's unknown rewards, rewards more bountiful than any of the achievements motivated by fear or desire. The lousiness of the group. The group is envious, selfish, greedy, insecure, and therefore condescending, needing to be special, primary, disposed to war, needing to see the other fail, immoral, sentimental. Rick Blog poll, 45% of Americans are woke and done with the group. Sick of office, neighborhood, family, government, social bullying. They get the lousiness comes up over and over again. 40% of Americans are fanatics, identified with the group, hazing the new guy at work, mocking disabled people at rallies, persecuting immigrants, abusing children, wishing death to the Kurds and suicide bombs to Europe, addicted to the excitement of meanness, worshiping their money, lusting for fame and power for themselves, or if that's not possible, for the famous and powerful people who have an angle and get something out of kissing their asses. This is not just about Trump supporters. I said the writer wanders. I've seen this lousiness for years in many places. Second City IO actors, Illinois lawyers, higher ed faculty, even community theater, and other tangential moments of my life is simply not getting along with people. Won't accept the lousiness toward my person, and I won't participate in it toward other people. And consequently, I connect and will continue to connect with the first 45% in my poll, the woke. And the remaining 15%, of all the sins, indifference is by far the worst. They call themselves moderates and make compromises, bartering other people's suffering. They get a taste. They call themselves realists. They think they'll go to purgatory instead of hell. But it's worth it for some money, comfort, and fun in the meantime. They will go to hell, unfortunately. Evil flourishes while good men do nothing. Hell for those who choose the group, leavened with a little kindness instead of real writing. Copyright 2019, Richard Thomas.